We're looking at one of the most famous passages in the book of Genesis, the almost sacrifice of Isaac by his father Abraham. It's hard for us to think about human sacrifice taking place in Judaism, and yet when Abraham is told to sacrifice his son, he doesn't seem to blink an eye. Human sacrifice was commonplace in the culture around him. God never requires it, but in several places he lays claim on the firstborn male of any animal or human. Human children can be redeemed by the sacrifice of an animal. Exodus 34:20 says, "All the firstborn of your sons you shall redeem." A firstborn son could also be given back to God. That was what Hannah did with her son Samuel, giving him back to serve in the sanctuary at Shiloh. There are a few instances of human sacrifice in the Old Testament, but as I say, it's not something that God required. In Judges 11, a man named Jephthah rashly vows that if God will grant him victory in battle, he will sacrifice whoever comes forth from the doors of my house to meet me upon his return home. And tragically, his daughter runs out to greet him, and he does sacrifice her. The story is very old and may reflect a time when the Hebrews did sometimes resort to human sacrifice. A few other cases of human sacrifice are reported, as in 2 Kings 3, when a king of Moab sacrifices his son, but such things are never approved of. In 2 Kings 16, King Ahaz sacrificed his son, a practice which the author of the book calls abominable. The ancient Phoenicians, who lived along the coast of modern-day Israel, engaged in a particularly horrifying form of human sacrifice. They burned infants before an idol of a god named Moloch. The Old Testament tells us that the Jews sometimes fell into this practice. Leviticus 18:21 specifically forbids it, but the later prophets still chastise the people for engaging in it at times. Some ancient cultures practiced human sacrifice in their most primitive stages, but gradually grew out of it. And even those cultures, though, would sometimes resort to it when they felt they were the most threatened. The story of Abraham and Isaac, though, is more about a test of obedience than a particular ritual. Does Abraham trust God enough to give up something as precious as his son? Let's read this passage now as it appears in your bulletin. The Lord had said to Abram, "Go from your country, your people, and your father's household to the land I will show you. I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you I will curse. And all peoples on the earth will be blessed through you." So Abraham went as the Lord had told him, and Lot went with him. Abram was 75 years old when he set out from Haran. He took his wife Sarah, his nephew Lot, all the possessions they had accumulated, and the people they had acquired in Haran. And they set out for the land of Canaan, and they arrived there. Sometime later, God tested Abraham. He said to him, "Abraham." "Here I am," he replied. Then God said, "Take your son, your only son, whom you love, Isaac, and go to the region of Moriah. Sacrifice him there as a burnt offering on a mountain I will show you." Early the next morning, Abraham got up and loaded his donkey. He took with him 2 of his servants and his son Isaac. When he had cut enough wood for the burnt offering, he set out for the place God had told him about. On the 3rd day, Abraham looked up and saw the place in the distance. He said to his servants, "Stay here with the donkey while I and the boy go over there. We will worship, and then we will come back to you." Abraham took the wood for the burnt offering and placed it on his son Isaac, and he himself carried the fire and the knife. As the 2 of them went on together, Isaac spoke up and said to his father Abraham, "Father?" "Yes, my son," Abraham replied. "The fire and wood are here," Isaac said, "but where is the lamb for the burnt offering?" Abraham answered, "God himself will provide the lamb for the burnt offering, my son." And the 2 of them went on together. When they reached the place God had told him about, Abraham built an altar there and arranged the wood on it. He bound his son Isaac and laid him on the altar on top of the wood. Then he reached out his hand and took the knife to slay his son. But the angel of the Lord called out to him from heaven, "Abraham, Abraham." "Here I am," he replied. "Do not lay a hand on the boy," he said. Do not do anything to him. Now I know that you fear God, because you have not withheld from me your son, your only son. Abraham looked up, and there in the thicket he saw a ram caught by its horns. He went over and took the ram and sacrificed it as a burnt offering instead of his son. So Abraham called that place, "The Lord will provide." And to this day it is said, "On the mountain of the Lord it will be provided." The angel of the Lord called to Abraham from heaven a second time and said, "I swear by myself, declares the Lord, that because you have done this and have not withheld your son, your only son, I will surely bless you and make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky and as the sand on the seashore. Your descendants will take possession of the cities of their enemies, and through your offspring all nations on earth will be blessed because you have obeyed me."